Okay, so this is mode management 1. This is particularly the first part of managerial accounting. Managerial accounting, kung alam nyo pa yung kwento ko nung naging first time ko kayong estudyante, di ba, sinabi ko sa inyo when I took the board examination, one of the killer subjects then is managerial accounting. Yung tinama ko yung natatandaan mo yung 61 to 70 na hinulaan ko lang pero tama yung sagot. Yun. That is managerial accounting. So this is the first part of management accounting, sometimes called managerial accounting, sometimes called managerial advisory services. Actually, our client here is not the public. Our client here is the internal management of the entity. Meaning, wala itong standards. Wala tayong sinusunod na standards dito. Kasi this management accounting is for internal use, meaning these are specialized reports that would cater the needs of the management. Unlike in financial accounting, siyempre ang end product natin doon is the financial statements which will be used by the public, no? External yan. Okay? Ito naman internal. Okay? Kaya kung mapapansin mo dito, in this material alone, sa sa volume 1, ano bang handout number 1, handout number 1, it focuses on the management. Because again, this managerial accounting is for to cater to these are reports to cater the needs of the management. So ito, basahin ko lang, no? Daanan ko lang, pero hindi naman natin ganong tututukan because you already have your management subjects. Yes, management is the process of planning, organizing, and controlling certain tasks to realize the objectives of the organization. And these are the basic functions of management: planning, organizing, controlling, di ba? Yan, alam nyo na yan. Alam na natin yan. Okay? Let's deal with this management by objectives and management by exception. Okay. Under this management by objectives, it is a procedure which a subordinate and supervisor agree on goals and the methods of achieving them and develop plan in accordance with that agreement. The subordinate then is evaluated with reference to the agreed plan at the end of the period. Okay, management by exception, ito mas maganda ito. Management by exception is a technique of spotlighting those which vary significantly from plans and standards in line with the management principle that executive time should be spent on times that are non-routine and are identified as top priority. What is common in the industry is management by exception. Okay, there is such thing as what you call executive time, and that is executive time deals on the management, deals on the hours or working hours spent for managerial decisions. At ang umaangat class, those issues, concerns that need to be addressed by the upper management. Okay, so management by exception is one of the common management style in the industry. Okay, so this is now the difference between managerial accounting and financial accounting. So ito yung nasa natin dun sa ating mod fin 1, 2, 3, 4. Ewan ko, baka may 5 na nga eh. Okay? Diba? The user of the information, external users. Okay? While the user of the information under managerial accounting, internal users, the management. Okay? And under financial accounting, meron tayong PFRS, meron tayong generally accepted accounting principles. May Bible tayo doon. Dito, wala. Okay? Kaya nga, ang approach natin sa pag-solve dito, there are various ways to solve a certain problem in various references. However, ang nagiging sagot, pare-pareho din naman. Wala nga kasi siyang standards. Wala siyang structure. Kaya pagdating dito, class, okay, if this financial accounting is guided by GAAP, Generally Accepted Accounting Principles, okay, ito, depende yan sa management wants and needs. Kaya sabi ko nga sa inyo, these are specialized reports that cater the needs of the management. It may be detailed, depende sa gusto nila. Okay, some of the common examples na medyo alam natin dyan is budgeting. No? Budgeting is managerial accounting report. Okay, that is a specialized report. There is no such thing as a standard format for budget. Pag tiningnan mo yung budget ng magkakaibang kumpanya, magkakaiba ang itsura niya. Okay? Pero it goes with the same purpose. Di ba? Budget for 2023, for example, ganyan. Okay? And some companies would have the operational expenses in the next year, for example, increase by 10%, 15%, ganyan. Sa ibang company, hindi naman ganon. Maybe based on historical increase, ganyan. Kaya nga hindi siya structured. Okay, pero the purpose is to set a guide, no, a budget, for example, for the activities na kailangan gawin ni entity in the future. Okay? So ano yung purpose ng budget na yan? Tinitingnan yan between the budget and the actual expenses. For example, let's say OPEX, no? There is a certain budget compared to the actual OPEX, operational expenses. And the difference is the variance. And variance is to be investigated whether that is significant or insignificant. What do I mean? Favorable or unfavorable. Okay? So tinitingnan yan. Ano ba yung naging cause ng discrepancy? Why is that this is under budget? Why is that this is over budget? Ganyan po yan. And variance reporting is also under managerial accounting. Okay? So, this is mandatory. Kailangan yan, di ba? Kaya nga kapag ikaw ay nangungutang sa mga bangko, ganyan, one of the main requirements is for you to have the audited financial statements. One of the requirements kapag ikaw ay corporates, ay kailangan mag-submit ka ng iyong financial statements sa SEC. Kapag naman ikaw ay, let's say, sole proprietorship, di ba kailangan din niya ni DTI. Ikaw ay partnership, ganun din, and so on and so forth. Kasi every business entities must have the same set of books. I mean, the same requirements for financial statements because your financial statements, di ba? Kapag nagbayad ka ng tax, kailangan yan, and that is your income or statement of or your statement of profit or loss, which will serve as the basis to administer the documents or requirements of the BIR. Okay? So, ibig sabihin, mandatory talaga siya. Kailangan mo siyang gawin. Pero pagdating dito sa managerial reports, this is just discretionary. Optional kasi yan eh. Kasi nga, depende yan sa isip o gusto ng management. So, nandito tayo sa management accounting. And the type of information, primarily financial in nature, ito kasi monetary and non-monetary. Okay? For example, class, ganito. Ano ang pinakamalakas na benta natin? Nagbebenta tayo ng kotse. Okay? Ang binibenta mo ay red, white, and blue. Ang pinakamataas na sales, sir, ay blue. Okay? So, provide the sales report for that, details of the comparison, etc. Meaning, it may be a combination of monetary and non-monetary items. Okay? Because that is dependent on the needs and wants of the management. What is the emphasis of the report under financial accounting? Kailangan yan, reliable. Okay? Kailangan verifiable. Precision of data ang ibig sabihin. Ibig sabihin, kailangan, di ba, nag-i-issue tayo ng auditor's report. Di ba? Kailangan unqualified yan. Okay? That should be free from any material misstatements. Pagdating naman dito sa emphasis, sa management accounting, relevance, timeliness of data. Kasi, decision must be made, okay, with dependency on the needed managerial report. Baka kasi pag yan ay binigay mo at tapos na ang desisyon or wala na, hindi na kailangan, wala na. Kaya nga management accounting tayo, we cater the needs to support the management decision. And the management decision, kailangan niya ng timeliness of data. Okay, so the focus of managerial accounting is more on relevance for the timeliness of data. Purpose and result, yun na nga yung pinag-usapan natin. That is your financial reporting and compliance for financial accounting and decision making. This is the end product of managerial accounting, management accounting. Source of data from company's internal information system. Ito kasi pwedeng internal or external. Kasi class, di ba? When you are making a management, one of the best practices is benchmarking. Okay, benchmarking, mga best practices yan. And the other one is to compare your performance in the industry. Okay? Parang ganon, di ba? Sa board exam class, you must know your competitor kasi. Ganyan, di ba? Kaya nga, ina-advise namin kayo to join in the open pre-board examinations, ganyan. It may be kasi, it may be you are what do you call this? The highest performer of your class. Pero hindi naman yan yung population. Hindi naman yan yung population ng mga kalaban mo. In the board exam, there are other schools. So you must attend, no? Or join some open board to assess yourself. Ibig sabihin, look at your competitors. Ganon din dito sa management accounting. Okay, mataas ang sales natin ngayon. However, would that be enough? Okay? Baka naman yung competitor natin na kabila, pareho tayo ng industry, mas malaki yung kinikita niya. Meaning, ano ang pwedeng gawin? So, meaning, sources of data may be internal or external. Okay? There are industry publications, by the way, na pwede mong gawing benchmark. Okay? Next, amount of details, compressed and simplified. Ito kasi extensive and detailed. Compressed and simplified in financial accounting, di ba? Meron tayong statement of financial position, compress yun. Ang notes nun nandun sa likod, no? Dito sa managerial accounting, kailangan extensive and detailed. Bakit? Kasi ang babasa niyan management. Okay, kailangan sa unang tingin pa lang naiintindihan na yung report mo. Kasi detalyado siya. Bakit? Kasi class, hindi siya pwedeng magkamali ng desisyon. Okay, based on the interpretation of your reports. Okay? So that should be extensive and detailed. Then the focus of information, it mainly focus on a business as a whole. Okay, when we say ABC company, the most popular company in accounting, di ba si ABC company? Kung di si ABC, si XYZ company. Yan lang naman yun eh. Okay? So, the financial statements of ABC or XYZ companies, okay, tinitake mo yan as a whole. The whole performance or the whole the status of the company as a whole. While in managerial accounting, pwede kasing mag-focus lang yan sa segments. Okay? Pwede lang yan mag-focus sa segment lang. Or business as a whole. Let's say, gusto ko lang puntahan kung sa manufacturing tayo, for example, gusto ko lang puntahan si assembly line. Okay, yung department lang na yon, pwedeng doon lang. Pwedeng doon lang mag-focus ang gusto ni management. I-assess mo nga ang variance report ng assembly line department, ganyan. So, hindi porke isang kumpanya ganun na ang focus. Pwede kasing may problema lang sa isang department. So make a report on that department. Ganun. Kaya nga pumapasok din si management by exception. And that is to highlight any important issues or significant issues in the company. Okay? Frequency. Ito, kailangan periodic yan. Meron ka pa nga interim dyan eh. Di ba? May topic pa tayong interim reporting. Okay, and that should be prepared annually, no? Ito, depende kung gaano kagusto ni management. Okay? That is more frequent as the need arises. Mas maganda ang managerial accounting if you will focus on manufacturing. Mas gamit siya. Time orientation, historical, ito future-oriented, using current or past data. Kasi nga management decision eh. Diba? Decision that would cater the needs of the company, strategies of the company in the future. Ito kasi historical na eh. Diba? Na-journalize na. Na-journal entry na. So meaning these are past events. While these are future-oriented events. Will we make or buy? Will we make a certain parts of the product we are using, or we will buy it to suppliers? Mga ganong kaso. Will we shut down our operations now for the meantime because of pandemic, or we will continue? Mga ganon. Okay, this is future-oriented. Then, unifying model, ito standards yan. The famous, no? Accounting formula, that is your assets is equal to liabilities plus equity. At ito, wala nga siyang standard eh. Okay? Wala siyang, kaya nga sabi ko sa iyo, magkakaiba ang format. Okay? Lalo na sa budget, ang gulo, magkakaiba yan. Pero, the purpose is still the same. Okay? Okay? So, let's move to page 2. Ang na-load ko pala is Word file, no? Pero okay lang. The succeeding files will be uploaded in a PDF format, no? Okay? So here, the controller or the chief management accountant. The controller actually is the highest position in an accountancy department. Diba ganyan? And this is under the controllership group. And yeah, the practice, controllership is the practice of established science of control, which is the process by which management assures itself the company's resources are obtained and utilized according to plans that are in line with the company's set of objectives. Controller, an officer of an organization who has the responsibility for accounting aspect of management control. It is a title given to a person holding the position of Chief Management Accounting Executive or Chief Accounting and Statistical Officer of a business enterprise. Kung sinabing Chief Accountant yan, that is a controller. Okay? Class, yung first part lang nito ang theory ha. Okay? From module handout number 2 down the line, these are all majority computation. Okay? So, let's go here. Napag-usapan nyo na yan sa management. This is a line function and staff function. Line function, the authority to give command or orders. Line kasi with subordinates. Ibig sabihin, may supervisor. Okay? That direct commands or orders to subordinates. Okay? It is the exercise of direct, downward, authority over line departments. Example, BP for operations over operations manager. Okay? Staff function, the authority to advise but not to recommend, but not to command. Huh? Authority to advise but not to command. Okay? So the function or responsibility of providing line and staff managers with specialized service and technical advice for support. It is exercised laterally or upward. Okay? Next, the controller primarily exercises staff function. Okay? As the controller's office gives advice and service to other departments. Parang ganito. Sa isang company, automatic mayroong accounting department yan. Okay, hindi naman mawawala yan eh. Kaya kapag graduate ka raw ng accounting, talagang kahit sa kumpanya, pwede ka mag-apply. Even sa, di ba? Kahit naman sa mga cemetery, may accountant dyan. Okay? Okay? So, ngayon, in a certain committee meeting, o paano na natin, lakihan na natin, corporation tayo, let's say a bank, no? Ayan. Yung chief accountant na yan provides information to the higher management as far as the status of the entity, let's say a bank, status of the bank. Magkano ang loan portfolio, magkano ang let's say non-performing loans, mga ganong bagay. Saan pupunta? Accounting. Okay? Magkano ang capital adequacy ratio? Magkano ang return on equity? Accounting lahat yan. Okay? And the controllership group or department serves as primarily exercise a staff function in the sense that the controllership office gives advice or services to other departments and to entire organization as a whole. Yan kasi ang trabaho niya, di ba? Pero pagdating na sa accounting department, siyempre ang head doon si controller. Okay? Siyempre si controller ay nagbibigay ng commands and orders sa kanyang mga subordinates. Kaya si controller, pinapractice niya yung line authority over his or her subordinates in its own department. Pero the purpose of that department is to provide advice and service to other departments or to the whole entity as a whole. So primarily, the controllership group or office is a staff function because that is the purpose on why that department was created. While under that group or department, accountancy department, for example, yan na, dyan na ang line function. Line function in the sense that the controller or the highest position in an accounting department has the authority to command or direct over its subordinates. Okay? So, controller versus treasurer. Okay? Pag treasurer kasi class, ano yan? Di ba, treasurer, ano ba sa Tagalog yan? Ingat yaman, di ba? So, ingat yaman. Ibig sabihin, nakafocus ka dun sa asset, sa cash, kaya nandito tingnan, provision of capital, investor relations, short-term financing, banking custody, credit and collection, investment insurance. Okay, so ang focus niyan, di ba, ingat yaman na ang Tagalog niyan. It focus on the assets of the company, the custodian of the company as far as its asset is concerned. Okay? Then the controller, planning and control, reporting and evaluation, tax admin, government reporting, protection of assets, and economic appraisal. Okay? To avoid incompatible duties being assigned to single officer, a controller who is primarily concerned with accounting must not hold at the same time the position of the treasurer who is primarily concerned with the custody. Okay? Ibig sabihin, these are two functions which should not be combined in one position. Okay? Controller is primarily concerned with accounting, while treasurer is primarily concerned with custody. Okay? Okay. Next, ito class, tinatanong din ito, no? Standards of ethical conduct for management. This is based on the Institute of Management Accountants. And sinasabi dyan, the management accountants have the responsibility to, in essence, this is just competence, to maintain an appropriate level of competence by ongoing development of their knowledge and skills. Then confidentiality, refrain from disclosing confidential information acquired in the course of their work except when authorized and or unless obligated to do so. Kaya nga binibigyan ka dyan ng tinatawag na non-disclosure agreement, pinapapirma ka dyan. Lalo na for those information na medyo critical or confidential. Okay? Then, integrity. You must refrain from engaging in any activity that would prejudice their ability to carry out their duties ethically. Self-explanatory, no? And objectivity, para din sa mga CPAs din, objective. Communicate information fairly and objectively and disclose fully all relevant information relative to users' needs. Okay, these are just additional notes. Okay, sinama ko lang yan, no? Kasi these are the items that we will encounter moving forward. Yan, data, information, these are just parang glossary of terms. Pero once na ma-encounter natin siya, babalik naman tayo dito. So, yan. Just read this kasi meron akong mga sinama sa exam na definition of terms. For example, what is a decision making? Ganyan. The process of identifying alternative courses of action and selecting an appropriate alternative in a given decision-making situation. Ganyan. Relevant costs that differ among alternatives. Sunk costs, wala na. Costs that have been incurred. Opportunity costs, benefits forgone by choosing one alternative. Gamit na gamit kasi yan. Okay, so ethical programs created for the purpose of establishing and maintaining an ethical business. Okay, so that is your module 1. Okay? Hanggang ano module ba tayo? Kinompress ko yan. Hanggang module 7 lang naman yata. Abutin na. Or module 8. Okay. So, ang quiz 1 ninyo hanggang module 3. Okay? Sige. So, let's proceed to module 2. Ito, medyo na may computation. Okay. Sa module 2 class, nandito na si cost behavior analysis. Okay. Ito kasi yung cost behavior niyo. Fixed, variable, or mix. Pag sinabi nating fixed, what is a cost? This is the technical definition of cost. The monetary amount of the resources given up. Okay, siyempre cost, di ba? Given up to attain some objective such as acquiring goods and services. When notified by a term that defines purpose, cost becomes operational, acquisition cost, production cost, and cost of goods sold. Okay? So, cost, di ba? Magkano ang cost niyan? Presyo yan. So, we're talking about here an outflow of cash because of a certain expenses paid, for example, or for certain assets acquired, ganyan. Okay? So, behavior tayo. Behavior ng cost. Yung pag-uusapan natin dito. Okay? So, that cost, gagalaw yan. Depending on the changes in activity. What are those changes in activity? Let's say production. Okay? Ano pa? Let's say, siyempre, paggamit ng kuryente, no? Sa dami ng appliances, sa time spent, okay? Using the equipments, mga ganyan. Those are the related changes in activity. Okay? And this cost behavior is primarily used as the basis of decision. Kasi, di ba, to have one of the strategies that is best performed by the entity is to minimize the level of cost. Okay? So, these are now the behavior and these are now the cost behavior. The cost behavior may be fixed, may be variable, and may be mixed. For example, class, nagrerenta ka ng kondo. Okay? Nagrerenta ka ng kondo. So, kung mag-isa ka lang, 10,000, no? 10,000, let's say, gawin na lang natin eksakto. So, let's say 10,000. Mababa. So, hindi, basta ganun lang. Sige, 10,000 ang upang nyo sa kondo. So, mag-isa ka, 10,000. So, the total rent is 10,000. Paano kung naging dalawa kayo? What is the total rent? Di ba na pinapractice pala natin yung chat box? No? Sige. Sa chat box. Kapag mag-isa ka lang, the total rent is 10,000. Paano kung dalawa kayo? What is the total rent of the condo? Magkano pa din? O di ba? 10,000 pa din ang rent ng condo. O chat box. Paano kung tatlo na kayo? Magkano ang total rent? Chat box please. Still 10,000. Kahit 4, 5, 6, 10, still 10,000. Because that is the behavior of that cost. That is a fixed cost. Okay? So the fixed cost is constant as far as total amount is concerned. However, that is variable or that decreases as the production increases. Going back to my example, para hindi ko malitan. Kung nag-iisa ka lang, ang binabayad mo 10,000. So, kung mabigat, inaya mo yung classmate mo. Okay? So, kung inaya mo yung classmate mo, magbabayad na ng pondo sa may-ari. For example, siyempre, 10,000 pa din. Pero kung dalawa na kayo, magkano ang share mo? Chat box, please. 5,000. Diba? Kung 4 kayo, magkano ang share mo? Kung 4 kayo, magkano ang share mo? So that is 2,500, 'di ba? Kung 4 na kayo. So ito ang behavior ngayon ng fixed cost. The total amount is constant, that is 10,000. However, the per unit amount decreases as the production increases. So hindi pa tayo pumasok sa manufacturing, okay? Pinasok pa lang kayo sa idea na yun nga, ganun ang nature. So, habang dumadami ang members na nandun sa condo, lumiliit ang share ng bawat isa. And that is the behavior of fixed. Okay? Let's have variable naman. So, variable naman, ito naman increases as production increases. Okay? But the per unit is constant. Okay? For example, class ganito. Gawa tayo na lang ng analogy. Okay? Halimbawa, mainit talaga yung panahon. Okay? So, let's say, bumibili ka ng ice cream. Okay? Ang ice cream ay piso bawat isa. Kapag nag-consume ka ng 5, okay? Pag nag-consume ka ng 5, magkano ang gastos mo? Di ba 5 pesos? Ngayon, tatanungin kita ngayon. Sige, balik tayo dyan sa ice cream. Okay. As the increases in production, ayoko pa kasi ipasok si production. O consumption tayo. Consumption. Sabi ko kanina, as the consumption increases, the total cost increases. Okay? Now, paano kung 10 ang kinonsume kong ice cream? Di 10 pesos pa rin yun. 10 pesos ang cost ko doon, di ba? Pero plus, regardless kung 1, 5, o 10 ang kinonsume ko, magkano pa rin ang presyo ng bawat ice cream? Chat box, please. Piso pa din. So what is now the behavior of variable cost? the behavior of variable cost that increases as the production in a manufacturing setting increases. But the per unit amount is still constant. So this is now your fixed cost that is constant in total. It varies in per unit. While the variable cost, okay, varies in total but constant in units. That is your fixed and variable cost. What is now your mixed cost? Your mixed cost has the identity being fixed and variable. The perfect example of this, ano yan? Let's say may plan ka, di ba? Sa cellphone, let's say plan 1,000. Di ba? Ganun yan. Let's say ang free lang dyan ay 3 hours of call. Okay? To any networks. Di ba? Pag natapos mo na yung kahit anong konsumo mo naman, dyan sa plan 1,000 na yan, regardless kung under ang paggamit mo ng consumption mo dyan sa cellphone mo, let's say sa mga features ng plan 1,000, 1,000 pa rin naman ang babayaran. Kaya ibig sabihin may components siya ng fix. May components din kasi yan ng variable. Ano yun? Kapag ikaw ay lumampas na sa limit ng features ng plan mo, for example, the fee is only the covered number of hours for that plan 1,000 is only 3 hours of call. Beyond the 3 hours of call, di ba nagiging variable na yan? As your consumption increases beyond the 3 hours, tumataas ang babayaran mo. So that is the component of variable. Yan yung tinatawag na mixed cost. So sa mixed cost class, merong component ng fixed and variable cost. So ang gagawin natin dyan later, sa isang total cost, hahatiin natin nasan dyan si fixed at nasan dyan si variable cost. Okay? So ito, this fixed, discretionary fixed, committed fixed, ipapaliwanag ko to eventually kapag nasa problem na tayo related to that. Okay? Yan. So ito, kilala mo yan. This is the line function, di ba? That is y is equal to a plus bx. Okay? In management accounting, this y is what you call total cost. Okay? So this is your TC. While your a, that is your, yes, that is your fixed cost. Okay? The y-intercept. Bakit siya naging y-intercept? Di ba? Halimbawa, paano ba dito gumawa ng mag-excel ako? Okay? Di ba ito yung ating graph, no? So, sana yung kulas na T-account ang ginagawa. Ano ang ginagawa ko? Ayan. Wait lang, last. Ito, halimbawa. Yan. Ito yung ating, ito yung x-axis and y-axis. Di ba ang fixed cost ito? Yan si fixed cost. Ibig sabihin, regardless kung mababa o mataas ang production, mababa o mataas ang consumption, this is the level of fixed amount that you will be paying if you are talking about cost. Di ba nag-intercept siya saan? Di ba sa y-axis? Kaya ang tawag doon ay y-intercept. Okay? Balik na tayo doon sa materials. Okay? So meaning, we have the TC, the total cost, is equal to fixed cost plus, syempre, variable cost. Okay? However, the variable cost, that would depend on the level of activity. The level of activity, in our example kanina, the activity is the buying of ice cream or the purchasing of ice cream. What if kung hindi ako bibili ng ice cream, what is my cost? Chat box please. Zero. Kaya nga, itong variable cost is dependent on the activity. Okay? So this is your B. This B is your variable cost per unit or the slope of the line. And your X is the level of activity or the cost driver, which is the independent variable. Okay? So meaning, kung gagawin natin yan sa managerial accounting, ito ang makikita mo. You have the total cost here is equal to fixed cost plus, no? Plus B. B is your variable cost per unit. Okay? Times your X, which is the activity. Okay? Ganyan siya. Okay? So that is your total cost is equal to fixed cost plus the variable cost. And the variable cost is VCU, variable cost per unit, times the level of activity or the activity driver. Okay? So this behavior of cost is only true in a certain relevant range. Relevant range refers to the range of activity within which the cost behavior patterns are valid. Any level of activity outside the range may show different cost behavior pattern. Meaning this is just true the behavior of cost in a certain relevant range. Okay? And what do you call this? These are your cost behavior assumptions. Time assumption, the cost behavior pattern identified are true over a specified period of time. Beyond this, the cost may show different cost behavior pattern. Linearity, the cost is assumed to manifest a linear relationship over a relevant range despite its tendency to show otherwise over a long run. And these are your cost behavior assumptions. Okay? So, meron activity dito eh. Ayan, sige. Ito muna tayo. Let's have activity 1. Activity 1 here, the company manufactures and sells a single product. Okay, a partially completed schedule of the company's total and per unit cost over a relevant range of 60 to 100 units produced and sold each year. Okay. So, ito as if gagawin nating Sudoku, no? Sudoku in the sense kukumpletuhin mo 'yan. Okay. So, using the cost behavior. Okay, this is now the activity, the number of units produced, which is 60, 80 units, and 100 units. If the fixed cost of 100 units is 600, no? What do you think is the fixed cost of 80 units? Okay? That is also at 600. Kasi nga, that is constant in total. So this is 600. Pwede bang ilagay ito sa Excel? Yan. Okay. Okay, so this is also 600. Okay. How about this fixed cost? Under 60 units produced and sold, what is the level of fixed cost here? That is 600 also. Okay? So, what is now the behavior of fixed cost? That is constant in total and varies per unit. Okay. Hindi mo malalaman itong variable cost ng 80 units. Why? It would depend on the variable cost per unit. This 120 pesos variable cost here was derived using what? This level of activity times a certain variable cost per unit. Okay? The variable cost per unit, kung nasa ice cream tayo, that is 1 peso. Okay? If I consume 120 ice cream, the variable cost per unit remains to be at 1 peso. Paano ko nalaman? Di ba? That is 120 pesos divided by 120 units of ice cream. That is 1 peso. If I consume 50 units of ice cream, so that is 50 pesos. Kasi piso bawat isa. 50 pesos divided by 50 units. Here, the total cost is 120 at an activity of 60 units produced and sold. Okay, so this is 120 pesos and this is the units produced 60 pesos. What is then the variable cost per unit? Can you please compute? Okay, so the variable cost per unit is 120 divided by 60. So this is 120 divided by 60 and that is the variable cost per unit. Okay? So if I have now the variable cost per unit as an analogy in my example, that is the 1 peso cost of ice cream, I can now identify what is the variable cost when the activity changes. If the units produced and sold is 80 units, what do you think is the variable cost? What do you think now is the variable cost? Okay, so that should be, yes, that should be 160. That is 80 times 2. Okay, so this is 160. If the variable cost is 160, what is now the variable cost per unit? That remains at 2 pesos. Kaya nga, the behavior of variable cost, it varies in total, but constant per unit. Okay, so this is 2 pesos. And this one, just the same, ganun na rin yan. Okay, so this is how much? This is 100 times 2. This is 200 here. Okay, and the variable cost per unit of 200 variable cost with 1,100 units produced is what? That should also be 2. Okay, so the variable cost behaves as 1. It varies in total but constant per unit. How about the fixed cost per unit? What is the fixed cost per unit here? Can you please compute? Yan yung kanina, yung nasa condo kayo, di ba? Kapag mag-isa ka lang, di 10,000. Kapag dalawa kayo, 5,000, etc. Di ba? Ganun ba? So here, so this is 600 divided by 60. Okay? Yan. So the fixed cost per unit is 10. How about the fixed cost per unit if that is 80? Okay, so that should be 600 divided by 80. And this is 600 divided by 100. Okay? So yun na yun. As the number of activity increases, the level of your fixed cost per unit decreases. Okay? So the behavior of your fixed cost is constant in total, but varies in units. So what is the total cost here? So this is now 720. And this is 760 and 800. Okay, so if we will use the formula for total cost, so this is your total cost, which is equals to your fixed cost plus the variable cost per unit times the activity. Okay, if you want to know the total cost of 60 units produced, your fixed cost is 600. Okay, while your variable cost per unit is, magkano yun? 2, okay, times the activity. Okay, di ba? 2 times the activity. 2 times the activity, which is 60. Yan yun. So your total cost here is 720. So, yan yun. Okay? So, this is your fixed and this is your variable. So, let's go back to the exercise. Yan. So, complete the schedule. Ayun, nakompleto mo na. Identify two specific costs. Identify two specific costs that remain constant. Okay? Over the relevant range. Ano yun? That is the fixed cost in total. And what is the other one? What is the other one that is constant over the relevant range? That is the variable cost per unit. Okay, identify the two specific costs that are directly related with the unit of production. Okay, directly related. Okay, ibig sabihin habang tumataas din siya. Okay? Tapos inversely related, habang tumataas siya, bumababa siya. Balik tayo dito. Okay. What are now the two specific costs that are directly related? Habang tumataas ang production, tumataas siya. Ano yun? One is the variable cost. And the other one is? Ano yung nandyan habang tumataas ay tumataas din? That is your total cost. Okay? Next. Identify the two specific costs that is inversely related with unit of production. So habang tumataas ito, bumababa siya. Ganon. Okay? O kaya naman, basta inverse sila, baliktad eh. Okay. So ang baliktad dyan ay ito. Habang tumataas ang production, okay, sabi niya, sasabihan ko pa lang si Andrea. Biglang may sumulpot na panibago. The fixed cost per unit. Okay, as the production increases, the fixed cost decreases. Okay? Yan po yan. Ano ba yung sabi niya? Identify the specific. Hindi naman sinabi niyang two kasi isa lang naman. Express the cost formula of a line function that is y is equal a plus bx. Okay. So, express the cost formula based on line function y is equal to bx. So, that is, if we will use this activity, this is the line function. Di ba? 60. So, that is 600 plus what is the BCU? 2 times the activity. 2 times 60. Okay? Ito na tayo. Ito kasi 60, 80, and 100 eh. Diba? What if the company produces 90 units? What is the total cost expected to be? At what amount? Can you please compute? This is at 60, 80, and 100 level of activity. What if the activity level is 90 units? How much is the total cost? Chat box, please. Yun. Ganun lang naman siya, di ba? So the fixed cost is 600 and the variable cost per unit is 2. 2 times, ano ba yung sabi natin? 90, no? Oh, yan. That is 180. So the total is 780. Okay? Yan. Next. Balik tayo dito. These are the methods of segregating the mixed costs. I think we should start first with the high-low method. Okay? High-low method, this is the formula na makikita mo sa isang libro. So, high-low method, the fixed and variable elements of mixed costs are computed from 2 sample data points. The highest and the lowest points as the activity level or cost driver. Okay? Then we have the scatter graph and the least square. This is the most accurate, yung least square method. That is what you call the regression. Correlation refers to the yung yung strength ng linear relationship. Okay? So, this is coefficient of correlation, R squared lang naman ito. R lang pala ito. And this is your R squared, coefficient of determination. This can be further discussed kapag may problem. Correlation is the strength of linear relationship. Ibig sabihin, that's the strongest point is 1. Okay? That is positive 1 or negative 1. Okay? Yun ang strongest points niya. Okay? Dito tayo. So, this problem, saan ba yun? Dito muna tayo. Problem 2 and problem 3. Problem 2 and problem 3. Ang tanong niya dito, class, magkano ang variable cost, magkano ang annual fixed cost, at magkano ang admitting department's monthly cost function, and what is the total estimated cost at 20 patient, no? Hospital pala ito. Okay natin. Yan. So, this total cost has a component of fixed and variable cost. Sabi dyan, the controller of the company would like to come up with a cost formula that links admitting department cost to the number of patients admitted during the month. The admitting department's cost and the number of patients admitted during the past 9 months are given in the following table. Okay? Requirements. Okay. The variable cost per unit, the fixed cost per unit, etc. Okay. Ganito yan, class. Using the high-low method, ang gagawin mo, class, is to look after first the highest activity. Okay? So this is the highest activity. The highest activity here is anong buwan? April. Ayan yung pinakamaraming patients. So this is the highest and this is 19. And with a corresponding cost of 15,200. Okay? Next. After getting the highest level of activity with its corresponding cost, look for the lowest level of activity. Kaya nga siya tinawag na high-low. The lowest level of activity ay 11. Sir, dalawa ang 11 eh. Okay, 11 din si August. Okay, pag ganyan class na pantay, no? Siyempre, ang magpapahiwalay sa kanila, ito. Okay, which among them has the lowest cost? Okay, so this is lower cost. This is 12.8. So this is the highest level of activity. This is April. And the lowest level of activity, this is September. Yan. 11 and with the cost of 12,800. Okay? So this is now 15,200 minus 12,800. And this is 19 minus 11. Yan. Yan yung difference. Bakit natin kailangan yan? Kasi class, yan ang kakailanganin natin to determine the variable cost per unit or the B. The variable cost per unit is 2,400 divided by 8 and that is the variable cost per unit. Okay? So meaning, if we will use this April now, ito yung high natin, di ba? The total cost for April is 15,200. 15,200. Okay? Then, total cost has a component of fixed cost and variable cost. And the variable cost can be computed by using the variable cost per unit times the level of activity. The variable cost per unit times the level of activity. If we are now in April, this is April, okay? Can you please determine what is the variable cost for April? If the variable cost per unit is 300, and the variable cost can be computed by using the variable cost per unit times the activity, and if the activity in April is 19, what is now the total variable cost per April? Okay. So that is 5,700. So that is 300 times 19. Okay? So meaning your variable cost is 5,700. So what is now your fixed cost? What is now your fixed cost? That is 9,500. So this is 15,200 minus 5,700. Meaning that high-low method, okay, is used to separate the level of variable and fixed cost. Let's prove that. Let's validate if the level of activity, the level of fixed cost is actually 9.5. Let's use September. Okay, let's use September. The total cost for September is 12,800. Okay. What is now the variable cost? What is now the variable cost for September? How much is the variable cost in? So variable cost per unit times the activity. Okay? And that is 11. And that is 3,300. What is now the difference between 12,800 and 3,300? What is now the difference between 12,800 and 3,300 now? So that is kano? 9,500. So true enough that the fixed cost, regardless of the level of activity within the relevant range, your fixed cost is constant and your variable cost per unit is constant. Okay? So that is now your high-low method. If you're asked to compute what is the variable cost per unit, your answer should be 300. Your annual fixed cost, okay? Wala na, tanggalin mo na yung annual. Your fixed cost, kasi pag annual, it may be construed as this is the fixed cost per month. Okay? Kaya wag na. So the fixed cost here is 9,500. And the admitting department's monthly control function, that is your total cost, is equal to 9,500 plus 300 times X. That is your cost function. Total cost is equal to 9,500 plus your variable cost per unit of 300, di ba? Times X. That is now your cost function. Okay? Yan. That is 95 plus 300 times x. Okay? Next, total estimated cost. What is the total estimated cost if the number of patients admitted for the month is 20? What is your answer? Sige, class. Solve that in 10 seconds. What is the total estimated cost if the number of patients admitted is 20? And post your answer in the chat box. Okay, so the answer is 15,500. Okay, let's now move to the next problem. Oh, ito tayo. Ganun pa rin naman yan eh. This is just fixed cost. Okay? Sige. Kunin ko sa Excel class ha. Yan. Okay. So here, determine the variable cost per unit using this data class. This compute for the variable cost per unit and the fixed cost. Okay? So, sige. I will just give you 2 minutes. No? Please solve the variable cost per unit and the fixed cost. Okay? Your time starts now. Okay, kumusta na? Again. So what is now the variable cost per unit here? And what is the fixed cost? What is the fixed cost? Okay. Sige. So yung naka-type ngayon sa chat box niyo ay variable cost per unit. So what is your fixed cost? Can you please type in the chat box also? Okay, class, what is your fixed cost computed? Can you please type in the chat box? Thank you. Okay, sir. Sir, negative po. Negative po nakukuha. How about the others? Okay. Zero. Mas malaki yung variable. Okay. Ganito kasi yan, class. Nag-usap tayo kanina ng tinatawag na ano na yun? Hindi. Nasa module ito. Nag-usap tayo kanina ng tinatawag na cost behavior assumption, which means that the activity behavior, the cost behavior is true within a certain relevant range, time assumption, and linearity assumption. Ano ibig sabihin? Here, kung mapapansin mo, the level of patients from April to December is just around within this point. Kung gagawa ka ng scatter diagram, so kung ipa-plot mo yan, di ba nagkukumpulan yan, nagsasama-sama yan dito, 18, 19, 17, 15, ganyan, 16. Tapos, ang nangyari, merong, iba yung nabuksan ko. Merong, this is your graph. O, di ba? Nandyan sila lahat eh. Nagkukumpulan dito. Nandyan sila sa 15 to 20, no? Tapos merong isang 48 na nandito na yon. 48. Okay? Meaning, that 48 is now outside the relevant range. Meaning, if you will use the high-low method, those items that are extremely low and extremely high are so-called outliers. And those outliers will not be considered in the computation. Ulitin natin. If you make a scatter diagram, mas maganda kasi mapakita yung sa scatter diagram. Nandito siya, yung mga plots. Okay? And that 48, nandyan, which is what? That is now outside the relevant range. Meaning those items that are extremely high or extremely low will not be considered in the segregation method. And if this is under the high-low method, ibig sabihin class, we will not use the extremely high data nor the extremely low data. Meaning this 48 now, which is extremely high, will not be included in our computation. So meaning this is not your highest value here because this is outside the relevant range. The highest value to be considered here is the 19 activity level, and that is 19 patients. Okay? Nakuha. If you have now that concept, can you please recompute what is now the variable cost per unit and what is now the fixed cost? Okay? So, wag mo tong isama. The highest value now is 19. And that is in May. Okay? So, please recompute and post your answer in the chat box. Dalawa na. Post your answer. What is the variable cost per unit and the fixed cost? Okay? Sige. You have 2 minutes to solve. Thank you. Okay. So, you're getting what amount? Okay. So, the highest activity level here is May. Okay? Okay pa ba yung audio? Can you please type yes in the chat box? Kung audible pa. Thank you. Okay. So, the highest activity here is May, which is at 19. And the lowest activity here is 11, and that is October. This is 11. So here, the highest is 15,200. And 11 is 12,800. Okay? So this is 15,200 minus 12,800. And this is 19 minus 11. Chat box, please. What is now the variable cost per unit? Okay. So the variable cost per unit here is 2,400 divided by 8. Next, what is now the fixed cost? What is now the fixed cost? So, gagamit ka ng isa. Isa lang gamitin mo, okay na. Okay, the highest point, let's say May, yung ginamit mo. So, the total cost for May ay 15,200. While the variable cost for May is 300 times 19. Okay, so that is 5,700. So your fixed cost here is 15,200 minus 5,700. And that is 9,500. Okay, so how about for the lowest point, lowest activity? Can you please identify what is the level of fixed cost? Kano? Okay, siyempre 9,500 din. And what is the variable cost? What is the variable cost for October? Okay, so that is 3,300. Okay, ganun siya. So that is your high-low. Now, let's go back to the problem now. Okay, variable cost per unit 300. Fixed cost that is 9,500. Cost function that is your total cost is equal to 9,500 plus 300x. Okay, can you please compute what is the total estimated cost if the number of patients for the month is 20? Chat box, please. Sige class. Type mo lang din ang iba. So what is the total cost at 12 activity level? Okay, so that is 15,500. Okay? So, sige lang. Ito kasing regression na to, this square method, dalhin ko yan sa susunod na meeting. Kasi we will have a drill activity with this. Actually, ang focus ng lesson natin ay yung, yes, that is the least square method. Dalhin ko yan sa next meeting. No? So, pero magbibigay ako sa inyo ng mga sasagutan dito. Okay? So, okay na yung 1. Okay na yung 2. Okay na yung 3. Okay? Ito, yung theory. Iiwan ko sa inyo to. Okay? So, you will answer 4, 5, 6, 4, and 5. Hindi, 5 yata. 5 wag muna. This square method. Tapos dito, Ito, iwanan natin, syempre. Iwanan din natin si committed. Okay? Ito, sabi niya, least square daw eh. So, wag muna yan. Okay. So, sige. Ano muna tayo dito? Sir, so sa high-low, magbe-base lang kami sa... Yes, oo. Ayan. Sa activity ka titingin. Highest activity and the lowest activity. Okay? Sige. So, true or false tayo. Problem 1. Unit variable costs are costs that change in direct proportion to the changes in level of activity. True or false? Problem 1. Okay, so the answer is true. Unit variable cost is constant while the fixed cost is variable. While the unit fixed cost is variable. Unit variable cost is constant while the unit fixed cost is variable. True or false? Isa-isayin natin ha. Unit variable, this is the variable cost per unit is constant while the fixed cost per unit is variable. Dito tayo. Balik tayo sa table. Okay? Ang pinag-uusapan class is the unit variable cost and the unit fixed cost. Ito yung pinag-uusapan. Okay? Nakita na? Variable cost per unit and the fixed cost per unit. Balik tayo sa word file. Game. Unit variable cost is constant or the variable cost per unit is constant while the fixed cost per unit is variable. Repose your answer, true or false. Okay. So the answer is true. Okay? Kasi ito, the unit variable cost is constant. Yes. Di ba? Yung 2 pesos kanina, yung 1 peso sa ice cream, di ba? And the fixed cost per unit is variable. Di ba? Habang dumadami kayo, lumiliit ang upa ninyo. Okay? So the answer is true. In cost analysis, using the line function y is equal to a plus bx, your total cost is regarded as the independent variable. True or false? False. Because what is the independent variable? What is the independent variable? Independent, huh? Independent, di ba? Ito yan. These are the choices. Dependent variable, independent variable, slope of the line, and the y-intercept. Di ba? Ulit. Independent variable, dependent variable, slope of the line, and y-intercept. Okay. Sige. Which under this line function is the y-intercept? O di ba, nag-discuss ba tayo dyan kanina ng y-axis at x-axis? Yung nag-intercept, yung tumama dun sa y-axis. Ano na nga ulit yon? That is your ito. In this illustration, yan o, di ba yan? Ito yung y-axis, tumama, y-intercept. Ano to? Ano yung line na yan? That is your, regardless of the level of activity, that cost remains constant. Okay, so your y-intercept is your fixed cost. And under the line function, what is now the y-intercept? Would that be y, a, b, or x? What is now the y-intercept? Okay, your y-intercept is your a. Okay? Next, what is now your y? Is this the independent or the dependent variable? That is your dependent variable. Because your total cost would depend on these activities. Diba? Nakadepende siya dyan eh. Hindi naman siya pwedeng mag-stand alone eh. Meaning the total cost is dependent. Kaya siya yung hinahanap. So your y is equal to this. Okay? And what is now your slope of the line? What is now your slope of the line? And that is your b. Would that mean that the slope of the line is also the variable cost per unit? Yes or no? Would that mean that the variable cost per unit is also the slope of the line? Yes or no? The answer is yes. So if this is now your independent, if this is now your dependent variable, this is now your y-intercept, your a, and this is now the slope of the line, how do you call x? X is now the, isa na lang yung nawawala dun sa apat eh. Diba? We have the dependent, independent, slope of the line, and y-intercept. X is now the what? A, B, C, D. Slope of the line, y-intercept, dependent variable, or independent variable. So your X is your, yes, that is your independent variable. Okay? Sige. What is now your, if we will use now the cost function, this is the line function eh. Y is equal to a plus bx. Diba? Your cost function is your total cost is equal to fixed cost plus the variable cost per unit times the activity. Okay? Using the cost function now, what is now the dependent variable? Your cost function is total cost is equal to fixed cost plus variable cost per unit times the activity. In that cost function now, what is now your dependent variable? Yes, that is your total cost. And what is now your y-intercept? The fixed cost. What is now your independent variable? What is now your independent variable? The activity. And what is now your slope of the line under the cost function? Okay, the variable cost per unit. Okay? So item 4, discretionary fixed costs arise from annual decisions by management to spend certain fixed cost areas resource. Yes, this is true. Kasi discretionary, that is dependent on the discretion or decision of the management. Okay, ito, iwan ko sa yan. Ito, wag muna kasi wala pa tayong pinag-usapan na least square. Okay? Kasi the regression model, we will compute that manually. Okay? Kasi sa mga libro class, nakaano na siya eh. Pinapakita na doon eh, yung sa Excel function. Kaso sa board exam, nagtatanong-tanong kasi ito eh. So, lumalabas pa rin ba ang regression model, least square? Lumalabas pa rin ba? So, we will compute that manually. And this will take siguro mga around 20 minutes to discuss. The term high-low in cost segregation appropriately refers to the highest cost and the lowest cost among the sample data points. True or false? The term high-low in cost segregation appropriately refers to the highest cost and lowest cost among the sample data points. True or false? Tinanong yan. Tinanong kanina yan. May nagtanong sa chat box kanina, di ba? Si Rian pa nga nagtanong niyan. Okay? So, ano ulit ang sagot? The term high-low in cost segregation appropriately refers to the highest cost and lowest cost, highest cost among the sample data points. True or false? Okay, false. Ano ba dapat? Highest and lowest what? Highest and lowest activity. Okay? The cost equation that gives the most mathematically precise cost prediction equation is the least square method. Kasi ito regression. Okay? Gagamit tayo dyan ng statistical model, and that is the least square method. Kaya the most accurate between these items are what you call the least square method. There's no such thing as calendar method. Wala yan. Okay? High-low, least square, and the scatter diagram method. Scatter diagram method, di ba ipa-plot mo lang dun sa graph mo. Yung kanina, yung pinakita ko sa inyo. Saan na ba yun? Ito. Yan. Kunyari, tuldok yan. Mga tuldok. Scatter diagram. Tapos tuldok doon. That is extremely high. Okay? Okay. Balik tayo dito. Again, the calendar method is not used in the segregation of fixed and variable. Knowledge and cost behavior is critical to profit planning, particularly in the cost volume profit analysis. The answer is true. Pero mas mapag-uusapan kasi ito kapag nasa CBP analysis na tayo. Okay, an analysis of maintenance at 4 levels. Plant operation show 40, 30, 60, and 50. Okay, nga lang ang pinapagamit niya dito is the least square method. How about if you will use the high-low method here? Okay, last problem for the day. How about if you will use the high-low method here? Can you please determine what is the level of variable cost per unit and the fixed cost? And type your answers in the chat box. Okay. So use the high-low method here. Use the high-low method. Can you please determine the variable cost per unit and the fixed cost? Okay, class, the variable cost per unit is 13.33, while the fixed cost is 500 pesos. Okay, so that is our session number 1. So we will, please wait for the calendar of activities. So I will, kung walang pasok by next week, yun lang. So, kailangan natin may conflict ba sa schedule mo? Wala naman. Just let me know. No? So, can I designate Iris, no? Iris, ikaw na ang maging ano dito, parang class mayor. Okay ba? Parang yun dati.
No problem, sir.
Okay. Sige, if there are conflict in schedule, kung meron pa kayong ibang subjects, just let me know para maiwasan mo. And, yun. And sabihin nyo na lang sa course, sa ano nyo, sa class biddle. Okay, class, if there are no questions, let's call it a day. Sige, see you next meeting. Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir. Take care.
Thank you.
Bye, sir.
Okay, bye. Ingat kayo.